the art project I came up with in my early 20s, and I, I don't. I've always been fascinated by the idea of discovering something, or having a large buried thing that you find. The excitement and the mysteriousness of that. I grew up playing games like Myst, were these completely alien, sorts of worlds that felt very grounded and had their own laws of physics. And a lot of times those puzzles would be based on those things. And you'd be, traveling around in these completely unknown places and reading books, not full books, but, chapters, of books in a video game world, and you're learning about these people. The world itself is devoid of people at the time, but you're learning about its history where it was full of people, and you're learning all these cool secrets, and you're discovering little things here and there, and you feel like you're getting to know these people. And I love the idea of that. I love the idea of stumbling upon ruins and just getting to know the world before you, and I guess out of that, because I was very, very young. I was probably 5 years old when I first played Myst, maybe 6 when my family rented it and we played it together. But that's always stuck with me. Or even the Legend of Zelda. You get to find like ancient civilizations where you get to travel back in time, and so as a kid, I would take things that looked ancient, and like I would bury them and then dig them up later, or I'd watch like The Mummy, in The Mummy he wore a mask for a little bit, and I'd make clay masks and bury them in the sand and stuff and dig them up later. And I'd been writing journals since I was probably 12, and I had made this box with all the CDs, because at the time I had finally scanned them into a computer, and I had CDs upon CDs, like a stack of how much it took to hold all my journals that were scanned in. I was going to make this, box that looked like Egyptian, sort of like it would have hieroglyphics that like spelled my name or whatever, and I was planning on burying it, and I had CDs, copies of these hidden in different places, because it was so easy to lose those things. And at the time I was very unstable, more unstable than I am now, and moving around so much, it was hard to keep anything. And maybe that was a part of it too. The idea of saving something, keeping it for the future, something that's uncorruptible, something that always hold fast. And that what a concept. But as a 16-year-old who's hitchhiking across the country and was, moved like 10 times in 1 year, that's kind of something magical. So I came up with the art in my early 20s. Like I must have been 21 years old, and it was just this idea of like a pyramid, being held up by this very hunched over person, because it's heavy. The labor and the work of what it is, of what it's holding is heavy, and and his body reflects the decrepitness of having done all that work, and it's also stylized, reflecting the art that's held within it, and it's an arc. The biblical arc holds the Ten Commandments, something sacred, something meaningful. And to me, this is the most meaningful thing that I can do, is to hold up my life's work, a life's work of artwork, sculpting, of pain, and put it all together as a gift. But it's also saving it. And I came up with it wanting to make it, but I didn't know how when I was 20. I didn't know how to make something that's 4 or 5 feet tall that would that would do that. So I gave up on it. But again, it's the year, it seems like, of revisiting old projects, and maybe it's a way for me to move on. Maybe it's a way for me to like accept and complete some of these bucket list projects, and then it's a way for me to move on to the next phase of my life. But much like Harry Potter, they have like Horcruxes. Voldemort has Horcruxes, and I want to say in D&D it's called phylacteries or something. If you're a D&D fan, please fucking forgive me, because I know I just mispronounced that, but you understand what I'm saying. So it's the idea of creating this and then putting it in different places. And the cool thing about it is there's a whole statue there, but the top part is what all the information is stored in. And I can take just that if I wanted to and make copies of it and put it in random places, in the woods, in venues, in bars, in theaters, wherever, whoever will allow me to do it. I don't want to break any laws. Maybe one day in a city square, and just in that way save it. And maybe one day in the distant past, one day in the distant future, maybe somebody will stumble upon that, and they'll discover all that pain and beauty and art and what I've done. Maybe and maybe in that way I'll give somebody else the feeling that I had when I was playing Myst, and I discovered all those things about that magical world. Maybe I can give that to somebody else, and that excites me very much. So the basic concept is just that I've made a pyramid of clay, and it's got cavities in it, and I'll take a silicone mold of that and then cast that into resin, and then I can take flash drives and air tags and put them in the pyramid, so that you can connect your phone and download my books, or hit the air tag and it'll take you to my website, or my Etsy, or maybe the other flash drive will give you all of my artwork for free. I mean, I can change it up, and then I'll take foam and I'll carve the body of the person holding up the art, and then I'll cover that in Mod Podge, and then I'll cover that in clay, and then I'll take a two-part mold of that, and then I can pour concrete into this giant thing. And now you have a statue holding up this, resin arc, this resin pyramid, and I could throw lights in there. It could be a lamp, it could be whatever you want it to be. And because it's a mold, I can make a bunch. And I could also take a scan of that and then have somebody 3D print this in miniature, or on a grand scale. How fun is that? How cool is that? Just the idea of being able to in a small quantity mass produce something almost, with cutting down on the work and the cost, and being able to share that with the world, especially if I get to move around. I could take this to different cities and stuff, and in that way I don't have to worry about losing my CDs and my thumb drives. But yeah. Look at all these mushrooms in this person's yard. Isn't that pretty? Steal some of this fucking wood, man. I'm gonna steal some of this fucking wood right now. I'm gonna steal some of this wood. I'm gonna steal some of this really, really, really old wood. You got wood? I'm gonna steal it. Yes. It is 10:59 on August 11th, and I am headed to fucking Lenore, North Carolina, to pick up some styrofoam block that I can carve into the arc sculpture because I'm giving up on the wood frame and wire and paper mache option because it just seems easier and maybe cheaper in the long run on time. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's gonna be a 2-hour and 12-minute drive one way, so I'm gonna be spending a fair chunk of my day doing this. I just got back from Detroit and so I draw something like this, or this, or this, just a rough sketch, and I then take a photo of the sketch and then transfer it from my phone to my desktop and then throw it up on my projector. So this is the original sketch that I made when I was in my 20s of what I thought the arc might look like. And this is the drawing that I just showed you. And here I can scale it to be however big I want it to be. From there, I take some paper and I tape it to the wall. And then I can take my Sharpie and trace my sketch. And this is a good time to add alterations. It doesn't have to be a perfect sketch, just a rough sketch will do. These are the sketches for my 2 art designs. This needs to be further adapted. This one also needs to be further adapted by adding cloth. This is all the foam. So the next step is to take the foam, or the pieces of paper, and then adhere them to the foam and then cut them out. This is always the hardest part because my house becomes a mess.
Oh, thank God. I was worried sick about you.
So I left without saying goodbye. You felt real.
I'm the right person for you to be talking to. I used to see someone, therapist, I could give you her information.
Thanks. I think I'm just gonna get some rest.
a mess. So because of how hard this was, and because of how much time it took, I'm not even going to do the original design, unfortunately.
Whatever test will prove there was an echovirus iritis, it was not cured, obviously.
I've been saying all along to Whipple's causes arrhythmia, tremor, and mental changes.
Bad idea. There's no joint pain. Where's Adams?
He thought the case was over. He has a job interview. Why is she here?
So I called her. Bigger question is, why that worked?
I'm here because I have time and you have
Dave's bed.
to localized pain.
LCD.
Also,
I assume you dose the patient because you're really certain
Decided to do it. You're up against a lifetime of training. If you want to win, you gotta do something.
since 1988. You decided to move your company right after your wife died.
Life. It's the only thing that keeps me here.
So your daughter was wrong. You just...
Oh no, my pants.
Okay, so pulling this out, I can see that we caved in a little bit, but not a lot. Mostly still intact, mostly unwobbly. There's a little bit of wobble, but you know what? That's okay. You know, I don't really want a pristine pyramid. I love this crack that's going across it. I love that it looks old and weathered. And of course, the resin versions won't look exactly like this. You can see our little compartment for our inverted our inverted flash drive, and then another hole here for our regular flash drive. So the goal is to take a mold of this and cast it in resin, or in in resin, and then I would pop in a flash drive and then sort of resin in the hole, so it's embedded in there. But this cavity goes in deep so it can fit it, and then this one is about 5 inches to fit the long chip, so you can just plug in something and download the data. This is the essence of the actual art. Like, the whole sculpture is cool, but this is the part that actually matters. This is the art.
And making good on their promise, the physicists helped analyze the lead ingots to confirm both where and when they came from.
stinks today. Like, holy shit. Lots of things. Did a few molds and things with the Angel Gear project. I painted the arc sculpture, the foam pieces with Mod Podge, so they're a little more sturdy and I can put clay on top of them. And I made this out of clay using a mold, and it has a cavity to put in a sort of, the best thing I can use to describe it is a reverse flash drive. So it's like it's a card with a female port on it, so I can slide the chip in here, and then I'll basically use Bondo or whatever to fill this gap in. So it's just a port in the side of this pyramid, and you can plug into it to get whatever, you know, like my books or my art or whatever. Same thing over here, but I'm going to have a normal flash drive, so it'll be sticking out, and I'll wall it in the same way. I'm also going to do air tags and put it on the surface and then cover it in resin. This is, of course, just the base, like the master copy. So the final product will be resin. So what I would do is I would take a 2-part mold silicone. So it's like you bury this in clay, you take a silicone mold of this side and you flip it over and you take a silicone mold of that side. And then you can pour resin into it. So that it'll be clear resin with these pockets. So you'll be able to see the chips and stuff inside. These holes in the bottom are for the wires in the arms. They'll feed into the resin cube, and then I can cement them in there. So I can mold it separately and make them separately as many times as I want to, but I'll still be able to adhere it to the sculptures. Because like this is the actual important part. This is the whole reason the sculpture exists. This is the arc. It's basically going to be a way to get my artwork. You can, you know, connect your phone or computer to this and download all of my artwork, all of my prints, all of my paintings, all of my sculptures, maybe all of my novels and books. And you can, it gives you 3 different ways to access that, right? The AirTag will take you to the website or the Etsy or whatever store that I'm selling my prints at, and then you can either one of these USBs get copies of my stuff, because I'm just nice like that. I also have a devious plan to just put these in random places, like different bars and venues and friends' properties and restaurants, for the simple reason that they're kind of like Horcruxes. Or I can't remember what they call them in D&D, but instead of having my art on one website or on one Google Drive or 3 different flash drives in my home, I could have them all over the country if I were to travel with a giant statue, or just this. I could take this and put it in random places, cast it in concrete and just put it in cities, just around. I don't know if that's illegal or not, but with permission I could definitely put it in certain places. And how cool is that? It would be effective at least until I die, and the AirTag is bad when my website expires because I'm not paying it because I'm dead. But even still, after that, the flash drives would still be, in functioning order, assuming those can still be read in whatever year it is that I pass away. So and even then, if people really wanted to know, not that anybody gives a shit about my art, but they really wanted to know, they could do some archaeology, and maybe that's another reason it's a pyramid, right? Because it's leaving a great body of work behind its legacy, and it's also like my life's work, right? Like all of my big projects lately have been about my life's work, and that could be coming with a sense of mortality and aging and trying to move on. But yeah, you know, and the pyramid is one of those things that lasted for eons, and it was a great body of work.